You are welcome to the Nigerian Law Coach channel, and today we're going to continue our discussion on the Academic Excellence series. The subject for today's discussion will be effective study skills, and it's a very important topic because right here amongst a lot of students, it's assumed that there is really no method to achieving academic excellence, and most of the time students tend to think it's a hit and run thing. And one of my friends told me a long time ago that there are some students who are discussing mathematics questions on the road, and one of them was saying that she was able to solve it by luck. And that's the wrong impression that a lot of young people have right now, that academic excellence is a lucky thing and all that. But what I want us to establish in this particular discussion is that there are study techniques. Even for example, when we play chess, it's somebody could build up a very good position, a very good game, and then you hear the commentator or on the chess game now say the rest is a matter of technique. Now what that basically means is that if you have bad technique, you will have a good game of chess and lose it because your finishing up technique is not very good. It's the same thing in the area of academic excellence and study. If you don't have an effective study technique, you will find out that it will be very difficult for you to have good grades. It will be very, very difficult. Again, I remind you of Solomon's statement in Ecclesiastes that the labor of a foolish person makes him tired because he does not know the way to the city. And there is actually a way, there is a method, there is a procedure. And then for today's discussion, I was supposed to discuss the SQ3R method of study, which was developed by Francis Pleasant Robbins and was written down in his book Effective Study. If you actually find that book, it will be good to look at it, but I've never seen the book. But the important thing is that for a lot of us and a lot of very good students who apply these things, some of them were things that they picked up at infancy when they were exposed to good parents that had access to good books, and so they made a very good foundation. But I want to assure you even today that it's not late to change your procedure and your methods. And I saw a write-up, an article in the Reader's Digest magazine that says that the brain is very, very flexible. Even at 30, 40, it's still learning, and you can actually learn to change your technique at this point. So let's get into this discussion of the SQ3R, but I'm not going to go into it in detail in this particular clip. I just want to concentrate on something that will be important for a lot of the law students and a lot of other students as well, because I think it applies across the disciplines, and it's going to be based on the S. First of all, SQ3R is actually an acronym that stands for: S stands for survey, Q stands for question, 3R stands for read, recite or recall, and review. So it's SQ3R talking about a 5-step procedure in reading that helps to actually give you information and help you to retain it in your mind. And like I said, the 5-step procedure is: you survey the material, you raise questions, you read, you recite, and you review. Now that's the 5 steps, and like I said, I won't go into them in details because I'm really interested in the survey aspect of this discussion, and I'm going to look at it from a little bit different approach. But you must know that the first step when you pick up a textbook, well, first of all, let me give you a history about how this. As I said, the history about that SQ3R. This Professor Pleasant Robbins, Francis Pleasant Robbins, was a professor of psychology in Ohio State University, and during the Second World War, a lot of military people were being sent to the universities to acquire skills that will help them in the war effort. And through a lot of tests that was carried out, this professor of psychology was able to come up with this procedure for studying, for helping the military personnel to learn skills in very short time. And again, I keep telling you that there are scientific studies that have been done to show that these things are applicable, these things work. You agree quite alright that no two people are the same, and the same methods won't work for everybody, but due to certain general characteristics of the brain and the mental processes, some of these things will help. Now, even for me, I don't think I follow a rigid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 step, but you will find out that in the process of reading, you will have applied most of these steps in order to help you to get to what you're doing. So the summary of the 5-step procedure, again, like I'm not going to go into the procedure in this particular clip, but the summary is you survey the material that is before you, and to do that, you basically look at let me read out the procedure first. You survey the material first of all. Secondly, you raise questions on each of the subsections that is contained in the chapter. Then you read in an active way, trying to find answers to the questions already set for yourself when you were looking at the subsections and setting the questions. You're trying to find out the answers to those questions as you read. Then after you finish reading, you will now maybe close the book a little bit. This was something we used to do because when we were a student. You close the book and try to recollect whether you can actually remember the answers to the questions you've raised and whether you can remember what you've read. And then after the recall session, you now go to the review where you go over all your notes and then get ready to answer questions in the exam. So that's a 5-step process. But like I said, for today's discussion, I'm just going to look at another aspect of the survey method, which might not even be touched upon in the books. If you read most of the books have not really touched upon this aspect of it. Survey. I think I saw one person that mentioned it somewhere, but it's not been really handled that seriously. Now, it's the importance of studying the structure of a topic or a chapter, and using it to create a mental frame that will enable you to do your revisions mentally without actually reverting back to the notes. Like I said, when you're doing the survey, you're basically looking at you look at the title of the work, you look at the subheadings, you look at the various charts, the various, that's CHARTS, that in the diagram. You look at italicized text, you look at bold-faced font. This is supposed to be important aspect of the chapter. You look at the introductory aspect of the chapter, you look at the concluding aspect of the chapter. You're just trying to have a general understanding of what that chapter of the book is all about. Now, that's what you do in the survey. You're trying to just get an overview. It's like you're looking at a map of a territory and trying to find out what you're actually supposed to know in that particular section. Now, but the aspect of it that I really feel is very important for any student who wants to do a lot of work with his brain and his mind, really, who wants to revise his work in his head without carrying a lot of material around, is that aspect of studying the structure of a chapter. I tell people that anybody who writes well knows that there should be a logical connection between one heading and the other. If you see any popularly written book, you will understand that there is a logic of arrangement in that chapter. That's why we keep telling young people that it's not just enough to have an idea and jump up and go and start writing a book. You need to understand that there are people who have mastered how the brain works, and when they write in such a way that it will make it easy for you to understand. I think I've come across certain works at times that turn me off because you will find that there is just no logic. People are just pushing out information without a logic, and if you get that kind of material, you find that as a student you will not even be able to make sense of it. Now, but like I was saying, when you pick up let's assume, for example, you pick up a law textbook, and then let's say we are talking about something like let's say in the law of tort, assuming in the law of tort you pick up something like negligence. Now, if you pick up Professor Nemo's textbook, for example, Professor Ifeoma Nemo's, for example, and you go through it, you go to the title negligence, you go through every subheading that is there and try to relate one subheading to the other, and then, well, when I give you the video, when you look at the video on negligence, in all my videos basically I'll be able to show you an outline of thoughts that you're able to see the logic, so you can now have a mental structure. You see, I know students, I've been with people who don't come to the exam hall with any material on the exam day. While students are panicking and scanning through notes, somebody is just sitting down calmly, and what he's doing is that he's just going over the structure in his head. Some of the times they are walking on the streets and they are not really reading any material, but already they are going over the structure they already have in their head. I think I'll do a practical illustration. All the videos will have that kind of practical illustration, so that you'll be able to see that it's actually not a magical thing. It's a method. I know lecturers that do it, I know students that do it, and there's a method to it. And what I'm saying to you in this particular video is that when you pick up any textbook and then any particular chapter in the textbook, first thing to do, sometimes if you want to keep a full book in your head, the structure of a full book in your head, all you need to do is to study the table of contents. And I know people who knew every section of the Company Allied Matters Act, or who knew every section of the Constitution when they were undergraduate students, and it's because they had mastered this art. They knew, okay, if we study this structure properly, we'll be able to remember it very, very well. And so that's the lesson I'm trying to pass across to you in this particular video, and then we'll still talk about this the SQ3R method properly, guiding you through the steps one by one. But I want you to have this at the back of your mind. Pick up any textbook, any well-written textbook, look at each chapter, look at the title, the headings, the subheadings, any subheadings, and try to draw a mental map. Try to not even bother about going into details yet, but just draw out a structure, and then study that structure and find out how you can link all the structures, so that in your head, when you want to do your revision, you're going, okay, under heading 1, what am I supposed to know? Under heading 2, what am I supposed to know? Under heading 3, what am I supposed to know? And all of that. I'll be stopping here at this point. Like I said, I will illustrate this practically in most of the law lectures, so you will see that there is always an outline of thoughts that anybody who has to talk without materials, or without looking at them notes, or anybody who has to revise things in his head ought to know that structure. Thank you for listening, and please do subscribe to the Niger Law Coach channel, and looking forward to seeing you some other time. Have a beautiful day. Thanks.